Hey, greetings everyone from our home to yours. Happy Easter. Today we celebrate the 2024 Easter celebration. And our passages for today come from Matthew chapter 27, verses 62 through 66, and then skipping down to Matthew chapter 28, verses 11 through 15. And these are the passages where the Pharisees have put together a plan, and they put some guards on the tomb of Jesus, and they wanted to secure it because they were reminding everyone that he had said he would raise up in 3 days. And so they were trying to protect the tomb so that his followers couldn't steal the body and then make something up and then prove that Jesus was right. So they put some soldiers there to protect him. And then when Jesus was resurrected and the tomb became empty, the chief priests then paid the soldiers to tell the story that they had fallen asleep on guard duty and Jesus' followers came and took the body. And I encourage you to read that because it is a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory, but it is the religious leaders of the day plotting and conspiring to do something terrible. And the question is, why did they do it? Well, we know that they wanted to prove Jesus wrong. They wanted to keep their power, and Jesus and his ministry, Jesus and the things that he was saying and how his followers were reacting to what he was saying, they were disrupting his power. And people who have power don't like it when their power and their authority is challenged. What they wanted to do was to squash any hope that Christ's followers may have had. Now, it's taken me well more than 25 years in studying the Bible and in ministry to finally come up with the words that have been bothering me. And sometimes it's always around Easter when I think about these things. But here it is. We Christians, we have messed up this Christian journey that we're on, and we're messing it up because we are trying to measure success as a Christian, and we are measuring that success absolutely the wrong way. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should be measuring success, but we are, and it's wrong. And you hear things like, "Oh, they're a strong Christian man," or "She's a faithful Christian woman," or "He or she is so faithful, such a great man or woman of God." And faith has become the measuring stick of our Christian journey. It's become the measuring cup of our relationship with God. But do you measure your relationship with your loved ones? Do you measure your relationship on how you love and how much you love your kids? Do you have one that you love more than another? No. You simply are in a relationship and you love them, and sometimes that relationship is strained. Yes. Sometimes you feel closer to others than not. Yes. And that's how any relationship is. But I don't think faith is a good measure of our journey with Jesus. Remember, it only takes faith the size of a mustard seed to do the miraculous and move mountains. So faith shouldn't be a metric in our relationship. And actually, 1 Peter 3:15 tells us, "Be prepared to answer everyone who has a question for you, to give a reason for" what? Faith? No. We don't have to be prepared to answer to anyone who asks about our faith. It's hope. We're to be prepared to give an answer for the hope that we have. I mean, really, hope is what sets us apart from any other religion. I mean, it's not our faith. Every religion has faith. Every religion has folks that practice a faith, if you use it as a noun, or have faith if you use it as a verb or adjective. But hope is what keeps us going. Hope, not faith. Faith is trusting God and his promises, but hope looks out joyfully for the fulfillment of God's promises. Faith is knowing that God has promised us this, but it's the hope that looks ahead for the true fulfillment of his promises when he comes again. I mean, there's lots of faithful people. There's lots of faithful people that are out there, but it is hopeful people that draw others to God. Because there's some sour, faithful people out there, but it's the hopeful people, that joyful hope of knowing that Jesus is coming again, that draw people to God. When you hear stories of people who have endured things, like prisoners of war or people who were victims of whatever, and you hear these stories of how they endured these things, we paint that picture as it was their faith that kept going. If it's religious based, it's that faith that kept them going. But I would like to propose and argue that it was actually their hope. It was their hope that they were going to get through this. It was their hope that kept them going. Because when we lose hope, everything else falls apart. And that's what the Pharisees and the chief priests knew. They knew they didn't have to try and damper Jesus' followers' faith. They didn't need to try and damper the fact that they were faithful to him and his promises. All they had to do was kill their hope. Once they killed that hope, there was nothing else that they needed to do. Kill the hope, and we wouldn't be talking today, because we wouldn't be Christian. Because without that hope, their faith would not have carried them through. And that is what Easter means. That's why we celebrate Easter. That's why Easter is probably the most important Christian holiday that there is, bar none. Even Christmas, Easter is most important because we can celebrate and we can rekindle our hope. We can rebuild and remember and revive the hope that we have that Jesus is coming again soon. Because we are Christ followers. We are Christians, and he is the one that we are waiting anxiously to come and meet us in the clouds. Jesus died and resurrected, and that is history, and it builds our faith. But that empty tomb is what gives us hope. We have faith that his promises are true, and we have hope that he's coming again soon. Hope is more powerful than faith. Hope is what changes lives. Hope is what changes worlds. And hope is what rebellions are built upon. God bless you. Grace and peace to you. Have a great week.